What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight. Let's make some changes.
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Dolphins franchise here in Madden 20. Once again, we are a non-playoff team. We ended up finishing 6-10, third place in the AFC East. And there are still many questions that need to be answered. Our offense, 31st overall, just not being able to really move the ball or put the ball in the end zone. But we did see a little bit of promise from Dave Sands after he took over for Trevor Lawrence, who is currently going to be on the trade block during the offseason. I have gotten it okay that we could probably get a first round for him. I know he's very high overall, and he's probably going to go somewhere and just be absolutely dominant. So we will probably get a first round pick, and we're not necessarily cheating in the realistic rebuild type. Now, our defense, though, on the other side, was actually 6th in the NFL. A very, very competitive defense. Our pass defense was not as great, but I felt like a lot of zone calls that, you know, we're more of a man-to-man team. We're kind of the hindrance of us giving up just big touchdown plays like we saw against the Chiefs and things like that. But what we need to do in this episode, we have to go through the playoffs and then hit the offseason and get to the draft. So it's more of a very exciting offseason for us. I think we need to spend big on the offensive side and just go after everybody that we possibly can and spend our salary cap as much as humanly possible. But the first thing we need to do is upgrade some players. Starting here with superstar middle linebacker Jerome Baker, we're going to go into field general and get him up to an 86 overall. Our defense gets better. They're still young and will continue to get better. And then we have defensive tackle Lorenzo Neil, who does not want to play with the Dolphins anymore. We're going to go into run stopper for him, get him up to an 82 overall. We might end up making an offer to him during free agency, see if he ends up taking it. We're still kind of up and down depending on it. Right outside linebacker Merlin Robertson, we're going to go with a power rusher and keep that going up. He's now an 81 overall. And now we head to the practice squad signees, starting here with Michael Collier, who we are going into slot for him and gets him up to a 70 overall. He might have an outside opportunity at making this team next year. And then we have strong safety Heath Steele, and we're going to go into run stopper for him, keep him as that scheme fit. He's now up to a 70 overall, but it's going to be really tough for him to make it above our two strong safeties currently. Left end Mike Wright will get better, and we're going into power rusher for him, get him up to a 69 overall, real close to a 70, not too bad. Tight end Chandler Gore, we're going to continue the vertical threat scheme, and now it gets him up to a 68 overall. Tight end Jalen Teague, who plays very well in the preseason. I think we're going to go into vertical threat for him twice here. Since he has 2 skill points, it's going to take him up to a 67 overall, keep him as a scheme fit, and maybe he makes his team next year. Left end Sean Foote will get 2 skill points as well, and we're going to go into power rusher for both of them, which should take him up to a solid 65 overall as soon as we get through there, and we do. So 65 overall left end for Sean Foote. And now let's take a look at our season stats for the year. So Dave Sands was definitely our most productive quarterback that we've had for the last 5 years, but it still isn't anything to get crazy about. He did throw for 2,880 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 13 picks. Had a QB rating of 86.3, 66% completion percentage. So again, he showed promise, but also showed some rookie mistakes as well. Trevor Lawrence, who got booted pretty quickly, had 702 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, 58% completion, 72.6 rating. Just was not going to get it done for us, so that is why we're going to end up trading him. Philip Lindsay had 868 yards on the ground, but no touchdowns. Could not get a score on the ground. Nyheim Hines added 541 yards and 2 scores. Trey Ragas, the touchdown machine, 30 carries for 68 yards and 6 touchdowns. Lawrence scrambled 6 times for 36. Cootie had 2 for 26. Dave Sands, 13 for 13. Devontae Parker had a rush for 3 yards. And Josh Oliver had 2 rushes for 1 yard. Now talking about the receivers here, we have Devontae Parker, 62 catches, 736 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Kiki Cootie, 63 for 647 and 4 touchdowns. Gesicki, 62 for 624 yards and 6 scores, our leader in the touchdown category, which he should be at 6'6" as a tight end. Adrian Hardy, 49 catches, 563 yards and 3 scores. DJ Shark had 29 catches, 318 yards, but no scores. Nyheim Hines, 39 catches, 313 and a touchdown. Josh Oliver had 14 catches for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not quite what he had during his Pro Bowl season. Philip Lindsay, 12 catches, 100 yards. Fields, 5 for 60. Eric Cannon had 4 for 49. Rogas had 2 for 21. McFarland, 1 for 19. Buckley had 3 for 14, but did have a touchdown. Trey McKitty also had 1 catch for 12 yards. I kind of expected a little bit more for him. As for the sack totals, we're going to switch it up around here because this is where the starters are. Sidney Patrick gave up 10 sacks this year. Not great, but he's still getting better. He's still a young player, and he's facing all the really good ends, or the rushing ends on that side. Penei Sewell gave up 7. Paulo ended up having just 5, so again, he continues to get better. Connor Williams gave up 5 as well, and Tommy Saxton 4 at the center position, so a lot better than Connor Williams the year before. As for tackles, Jerome Baker 123, 109, or 123 tackles. Raekwon had 109, Avery Young 95, Fitzpatrick 92, Howard had 91, 89 for Alexander, 85 for McKinney, and here's the rest of them for you guys. I mean, nothing too crazy there. And then TFLs. Who's going to be our leader in TFLs here? It's going to be Christian Wilkins with 16, Chase Young had 15, Robertson with 13, McMillan had 11, Baker 8, Howard and Sweat had 7, Young, Fitzpatrick, and Neal had 5, Davison had 3, Alexander, McKinney, Henry, Williamson, and Shepard all had 2. Very surprising backup strong safety had 2 TFLs. Maybe something to keep an eye on. Our leader in sacks was Josh Sweat with 12. He might be the reason why we don't go after Lorenzo Neil and we just kind of move Wilkins back into the DT, because this guy can get after a quarterback. I mean, 12 sacks is just out of this world for a guy that's a backup. He's not even really starting. He is doing the rushing, but I mean, that's besides the point. Merlin Robertson had 8.5, Wilkins had 8, McMillan 7.5, Young had 6, Lorenzo Neil 4, Baker, Young, Fitzpatrick, Goddard, Davison, Alexander all had 1, and Bryce Stirk and Avery Williamson had 0.5. Bryce Stirk, my man, always getting his sacks. Raekwon McMillan and Jerome Baker actually led us in interceptions. That is not good. They both had 3. Avery Young had 2, Alexander 2, Howard had 2, Fitzpatrick had 1. And then for the forced fumbles here, we had Alexander, Fitzpatrick, Sweat, and Marilyn Robertson had 1. And fumble recoveries, Fitzpatrick, Wilkins, Chase Young, and Xavier McKinney all had recoveries. But now we need to look at the postseason wildcard weekend here. The top 2 teams in the AFC were the Ravens and the Chiefs, so they actually have the byes here. And then for the NFC, it's actually the Seahawks and the Cowboys, so we will see them next weekend. But for this one, we have the Chargers at the Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay at New Orleans, Cleveland at Tennessee, and the New York Giants against the Detroit Lions. Let's see who can win. So the Bills end up winning 28-21 against Los Angeles Chargers. The Bucks will beat the Saints by 1, 27-26. The Browns will beat up on the Titans 28-14, and the Giants will be moving on as they beat the Lions 27-14, which means that the divisional round is going to look like so. The Cleveland Browns will go to Baltimore, face off against Lamar Jackson. The Bucks will head to Seattle. The Bills will head to Kansas City, and the Giants are going to take on their rival, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see who wins. And the Browns will end up getting the upset victory against the Ravens 21-14. The Seahawks will beat the Bucks 21-14, same exact score. And then the Chiefs will beat the Bills 28-24 and move on to the conference championship. And the Giants will upset the Cowboys 31-28. So these are your conference championships. In the AFC, it's going to be the Cleveland Browns going against Kansas City Chiefs, which good for the Chiefs because they were kind of struggling there earlier in the series, but they found themselves in a conference championship. And then for the NFC side, it's the New York Giants going against the Seattle Seahawks. Let's see who's going to end up going to the Super Bowl. And the Cleveland Browns will be going to the Super Bowl as they end up beating the Chiefs 38-35, and they will be meeting the Seattle Seahawks, who ended up beating the Giants 24-10 in the NFC Championship. So Super Bowl, Seattle Seahawks going against the Cleveland Browns. Should be a pretty exciting matchup there. But first, we need to look at the Pro Bowl. So the AFC side, quarterbacks 1, 2, 3, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. On the NFC side is Jameis Winston, Prescott, and Brissett. As for the halfbacks on the AFC side, we have DeAndre Swift and Le'Veon Bell with Zach Moss. And then on the other side, Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, and Todd Gurley. For the fullbacks, AFC, Janovich and Ricard. It's actually the first time we haven't had a fullback in a while. And then on the NFC side is Kyle Juszczyk and Ham. And then for the wide receivers, looks like it is Brown, Snead, Harry, CeeDee Lamb, and D.D. Westbrook on the AFC side. On the NFC side is Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson, Jones, Miller, and Michael Evans. And then we can't forget about wide receiver 6, which is Tyreek Hill and Calvin Ridley on the NFC side. As for the tight ends, it's Hooper, Ingram, and Cole Kmet. And then on the NFC side, Kittle, Burton, and Seals Jones. Not surprised that we have yet to see a Dolphin on the AFC side. As for the tackles, it's Stanley and Tunsil for the AFC, and then Smith and Bakhtari for the NFC. For left guard, it's going to be Nelson and Thuney, and then Marpet and Hernandez on the NFC side. So Thuney ended up making it. Great. All right, AFC center, Bidaz and Linder, and NFC, Frederick and Daniels. Right guard, Mason and Davis. NFC, Martin and Zeitler. And then for the tackles, Brown and Schwartz. And Ramczyk and Johnson on the NFC side. So no big shocker there that we had 0 Pro Bowl guys on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, 31st offense, that's just what's going to happen. As for the defensive ends, for the AFC, we got Watt, Bosa, Houston, and Clark. And then NFC, Ford, Ioannidis, Donald, and Flowers. And then defensive tackles, we have Haynes, who's 74 overall. Okay. Ogunjobi and Riviera. And then on the NFC side, Oliver, Rankings, and Jarrett. And then outside linebackers on the left side is going to be AFC, Chaisson and Von Miller. NFC, Mack and Gruger Hill. Middle linebackers, Murray and Okereke. And then NFC, Kwiatkowski and Warner. And then for right outside linebackers, Burke Irvin and Merlin Robertson. Finally, we have a Dolphin on the Pro Bowl. Surprisingly, it's actually just Merlin Robertson. And then on the NFC side, we have Micah Parsons and Barrett. And then quarterbacks, we are looking at, on the AFC side, Samuel Harris, Bradbury, and Darby. And NFC side, Baker, Oliver, Jackson, and Campbell. And then for the safeties, they have Crosswell, Joyner, Adams, and the old honey badger over there. And then on the NFC side, Woods, Stevens, Fuller, and Delpit. And then for the specialists, kicker, Jason Sanders, of course, former Dolphin. Punter, Kern. And then kick returner was Monk. Punt returner was Schwartz. And for the NFC side, it was Harding, with Way as the punter, Cook kick returner, and Butler for the punt return. Now let's take a look at the 2023 annual awards. The NFL MVP was Adrian Martinez, the quarterback for the Bears. Okay, interesting. And then the coach of the year was John Harbaugh. Did leave his Ravens to the best record in the NFL. And now let's take a look at the AFC awards. Offensive Player of the Year, Lamar Jackson. And I doubt that we would have anybody. Defensive Player of the Year was Ben Burke-Kirven, with Raekwon being second. Okay, we at least got a little bit of notoriety there. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Lance Curtis, with Dave Sands actually finishing third. Okay, that's not terrible. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Kobe Pearson. And do we have anybody? No, because we don't start rookies. Best quarterback was Lamar Jackson. Best running back, Nick Chubb. Best wide receiver, Willie Snead and Marquise Brown. Wow, okay, Ravens, go ahead. Best offensive lineman, David DeCastro. Best D lineman, Justin Houston on the Colts. And then you see Christian Wilkins down there in fourth. Best linebacker was Von Miller. Raekwon McMillan got third. Best DB, Asante Samuel Jr. Best kicker, Justin Tucker. And then we need to go to the NFC side. Offensive Player of the Year, Jameis Winston. Didn't win the MVP, but won the Offensive Player of the Year over Adrian Martinez. Okay, interesting. I mean, not going to get mad at it. Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Kwiatkowski. Offensive Rookie, Cassius Moorhead, somebody that we were looking at. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Chad Gage. Best QB, Jameis Winston. Best running back, Zeke. Best wide receiver was Jalen Reagor. Okay. Best O lineman, Zach Martin. Best D line, D Ford. Best linebacker, Micah Parsons. Best DB, DeAndre Baker. Best kicker was Kane Fox. And that's it for the awards. So now we need to get over to Super Bowl 58 and see who ends up getting this championship. And in Super Bowl 58, the Cleveland Browns will be the champs, beating the Seahawks 31-28, even though it looks like Seattle tried to make a good comeback there in the fourth quarter. As for some of the stats, so the Browns actually had 465 total yards of offense compared to 329 for the Seahawks. I mean, very, very big offensive explosion. I mean, they did put up 31 points in the Super Bowl. But how did these players look? Russell Wilson, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Mayfield, 283 with two touchdowns and a pick. And then rushing, Nick Chubb, 17 for 138, 8.1 average. Chris Carson led the Seahawks with 15 for 66 in a score. Looks like Adrian Whitworth had a touchdown as well on the ground. And then receiving, OBJ, 6 catches, 113 yards. Will Dissly actually led the Seahawks with 4 catches for 66, but Hunter Renfrow had a touchdown. So did Jarvis Landry. Samuel Ackham had one, then Nick Chubb as well. And then defensively speaking, Bobby Wagner had the 10 tackles. TFLs, Myles Garrett had 2. About sacks, Myles Garrett and Tyus Bowser were the only ones. And then the picks were Bobby Graham and Thomas Graham. Bobby Wagner and Thomas Graham Jr. So now we have hit the re-sign period here in the offseason. And I'm going to see if Lorenzo Neil wants to at least negotiate something. And it's just a franchise tag, which would cost us 14.3. And he's actually not even looking for that much. So I don't think we're going to franchise tag him. We are going to have to look at a little bit of regression here too. I kind of forgot that since the season is over. Philip Lindsay wants a new contract. Connor Williams, Devontae Parker is now 76. DJ Shark is actually better than Devontae Parker at this current moment. There's a couple of guys, but I don't think we are going to make any offers to them at all. And I don't think we're going to franchise tag Lorenzo Neil. So let's take a look a little bit at the regression here. So Devontae Parker ended up losing 41 attribute points at 31. He is now just a 76 overall. He's going to have to really bring down his asking price for us to make an offer. Gesicki has started to regress a little bit, but he's still an 81. Xavier Howard now down to an 83. Trey Ragas has lost 3 already. What? The guy is just 27. Easy on me, man. Philip Lindsay just lost 13. Avery Williamson lost 16. Naheem Hines ends up losing 4 already. And then Tyler Davidson lost 13, but he's getting up there in age anyway. So obviously we didn't reach out and make any re-signings at all. Regression has kind of hit that group pretty hard. Devontae Parker, if he has a decent contract, maybe we'll sign him back. But, I mean, Lorenzo Neil was asking for way less than what the franchise tag would be. And, I mean, we can always move Wilkins back to D-tackle anyway. We have 43.35 mil in cap space, so we do have a little bit that we can actually work around with. But the top 100 free agents, you got Fletcher Cox up here at the top, Byron Jones, Travis Frederick, Von Miller, Lane Johnson, Jalen Reagor, who's just 25. Nobody's making a real good offer on him. I think I probably will. Yeah, he's 5'11", but I mean, come on. Jonathan Allen, Rodney Houston, there's Philip Lindsay, there's Lorenzo Neil, who has 10 bids on him. Holy crap, everybody's going hard after him. And then Zeitler, Grimes, and Travis Etienne. So let's see who we end up making some offers to. First order of business here in free agency was to go after a quarterback, and yes, Trevor Lawrence is on the trade block, so we'll get some trade offers next week for him. But I think we are going to actually offer up to Justin Herbert, who actually has no offers on the table currently. We are thinking about giving him a 3-year, $45.5 million contract. He fits our scheme. He's really the number 2 free agent quarterback overall. Cam Newton's the top one, but Cam Newton doesn't fit our system whatsoever. So we are going to offer this contract to Justin Herbert, see if he ends up signing. We are going to be pretty much putting all of our money into our offense this year, and the number 2 signing that we're looking after is top wideout Jalen Reagor from TCU. We're going to offer him a 4-year, $49.4 million contract, which is top on the board, but he does have 10 bids. Hopefully he comes to Miami. And then with the vacancy left by Philip Lindsay, even though we still have Nyheim Hines on the roster, we are going to be offering 4-year vet Travis Etienne out of Clemson, a 4-year, $14.2 million offer. He has no other offers on the board. I think if we make this offer, maybe he comes to Miami and is our lead back. So those are the only 3 offers we are going to offer up in free agency 1. Hopefully we can grab a couple of those guys, but we're also going to get some trade offers from everybody else. Hopefully we can get a pretty big top-end first-round pick for them, but let's see who signs. Alright, so the end of free agency 1, we end up not getting Justin Herbert, so our quarterback situation is still in a downward spiral. Not sure exactly who undercut us there because he had no offers on the table. But Travis Etienne is going to be part of the Dolphins, and so is Jalen Reagor. So we at least got 2 good weapons, but quarterback is what we need. Alright, so taking a look here, Justin Herbert ended up signing with the Cincinnati Bengals on a 98-point offer. I think we had 97, so we ended up taking a better offer. The Bengals really kind of snuck in there. I didn't think that that was going to happen, but it is what it is, and it's all over for us with the quarterback situation. Also wanted to give you a little update as Lorenzo Neil is now with the Los Angeles Rams. He got 2 years, $13.5 million. So good for him. That's pretty much exactly what he wanted. I was actually surprised that there wasn't more people going after him. So as you can see here, there is not really any other free agent quarterbacks that I believe are going to be better than Dave Sands at the current moment. I mean, Shade Patterson, yeah, he has a star, but he's just 73 overall at the age of 27 compared to Dave Sands, who is 72 at 24, and he actually doesn't fit our scheme as well. So we're definitely not going for a quarterback this round. So we didn't put any offers out here in free agency 2. And we didn't get any trade offers for Trevor Lawrence, so we're going to head over to free agency 3. So we did end up getting a trade offer here from the New York Giants. They wanted Trevor Lawrence for their first round pick this year, which is pick 29. I think it's very good value, and I also think that it's not necessarily defeating the system as well. I did get an offer from the Raiders for the number 1 pick, but I kind of felt like that was cheating a little bit. So Trevor Lawrence is now going to be a New York Giant. So free agency 3 comes and goes, and we are yet again not going to offer any free agents anything at this point. I am really trying to get a backup quarterback, but they are super expensive at this point. A lot of people want some really high draft picks that I'm just not going to go away from at this point. But let's head over to free agency 4 and see if anybody changes my mind. So free agency 4 has come and gone. No offers on the table, no trades done. We are in a world of hurt for the quarterback position. It's going to be a very interesting season, I think. But we do need to advance to draft, and maybe we can make a move and actually get a decent quarterback in the draft. So free agency was a little bit of a crapshoot, but we did get Jalen Reagor, who I think is going to really take the top off of the defense when we're on the field on offense. Hopefully he's able to make a lot of things kind of fall into place a little bit, but I think we're still kind of looking for a wide receiver at the top of the draft. I'm probably going to try to take Nicholas Bolton with that late first round that we got from the Giants. So hopefully that's kind of our game plan. Hopefully we can go in, execute, get a good draft, and we'll see exactly what happens. Alright, so we're here in the draft. I was just kind of taking a look at my draft board a little bit. Might be a little bit tough to actually end up getting those wide receivers. Hopefully they do end up falling to us, just depending on what everybody picks. Moses Jeffrey, the right end from South Carolina, everybody kind of knew that was going to be the first overall pick, and he ends up going as a 76 overall. Now the Patriots are on the clock, and they're going to take Elliot Bates. A little bit of a surprise here, tight end, but he's 76 overall out of Ole Miss. So maybe that does allow the wide receivers to fall just a little bit more, but Elliot Bates is still a good pick for the Patriots, and now it's the Eagles. The Eagles are going to take Mitch Gates, the free safety out of Alabama, at 75 overall, so the wide receivers are sliding just a little bit. And the 49ers are going to take middle linebacker Angel Reeves, the 75 overall out of Florida. So we do still have an outside chance at getting one of these wide receivers, but pretty much everybody has been taken in the middle. Kyle Terra, the wide receiver out of Boston College, is going to Carolina as a 74 overall. Now, hopefully the Bengals do not pick a wide receiver, or once again, we are SOL, and the Bengals are going to pick Calvin Murphy, the wide receiver out of UCF, 74 overall. So again, we miss out one pick before. It seems like every draft, every time we go in with a game plan, we can't seem to get the people that we want. But hopefully we still have another option here, and I'll see who we end up taking. So I did not see anybody here that I think we should be taking with the pick 7 here in the first round. Everybody seems like they should kind of be later rounds that we are talking about. I mean, we were really looking for a wide receiver, but I think we're actually going to take a trade down this year. The Browns are going to give us a round 1 pick 32 and give us a 3rd round pick next year and a 7th round pick next year. So I think that is going to be worth it. We are going to take this trade and move on our merry way.
Hold on now. This pick is trading teams.
So now the Browns are on the clock.
The Jaguars are
and they're going to take Giovanni Boss, the cornerback out of Washington, at 67 overall. Oh man, that is not solid. They traded up. They gave us a lot of draft picks for a guy that's not that great.
Are now on the clock.
The Jags will take Andres Espinoza, tight end out of Michigan. The Redskins are going to take Roosevelt Crutchfield, the right end from Temple. Again,
the Packers are now on the clock.
Did not see anybody that was worthy at 7. Jeremiah Strickland, left tackle out of Washington, goes to the Vikings.
The Colts.
The Packers are going to take Damian Reed, who was right outside linebacker out of Vanderbilt at 77 overall. Now, that was one guy I was very interested in, but I don't think we really necessarily needed him. We have Merlin Robertson. We have our other 2 linebackers in Baker and Roquan McMillan. We just didn't need an outside linebacker. And now the
The
Colts
Rams are now on the
are going
clock.
to take Mike Stammer, the right end out of Temple at 69
The
overall.
Cardinals are now on the clock.
The Rams are going to take Nathan Wood, the center out of Connecticut.
The
The
Texans
Cardinals
are
are
now
going
on
to
the
take
clock.
Harvey McCauley, the outside linebacker out of Fresno State.
The Falcons are
The
now on
Texans are going to take Kason Winslow, 66 overall, outside linebacker out of
the clock. The
LSU.
Broncos are now on the
The
clock.
Falcons will take Julius Purnell, quarterback out of Wake Forest. As you can see, a lot of 67
The
overalls
Bears are
going.
now on the clock.
The Broncos will take Daron Tucker, defensive tackle out of Baylor at 66 overall.
The Jets are now on the
The
clock.
Bears are going to take Bradley Beckham, free safety out of Houston.
The Steelers are now
The
on
Jets
the
are
clock.
going to take Malik Caldwell, tight end out of Montana.
The Titans are now
The
on the
Steelers are going to take Kirkland Harper, left end out of Rutgers. I did not mean to hit my draft board. Apologies. There we go. All right, now
clock.
the
The
Titans
Lions are now on the clock.
are going to take Sylvester Crumpton, wide receiver out of Clemson at 68 overall.
The Chargers are now
The
on
Lions are going to take Arthur Hendricks, wide receiver out of Arkansas State at 65 overall. I have a couple of 70 wide receivers I think are going to be right around 70 that I'm probably going to take here in the later
the
rounds.
Saints are now on
The
the
Chargers are going to take Quentin McBride, 67 overall, wide receiver out of Duke.
The Buccaneers are now
The
on the
Saints are going to take Zachary Cummings, right end out of North Dakota State at
clock.
70
The Cowboys
overall.
are now on the clock.
The Bucks are going to take Jason Donahue, free safety out of Central Michigan.
The Bills are now
The
on
Cowboys are going to take Harvey Brinkley, defensive tackle out of Florida Atlantic University.
the clock. The
The
Ravens
Bills
are now on
are
the
going to
clock.
take Marcus Hart, strong safety out of Boise State at 66
The
overall.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
The Ravens are going to take Elton Conrad, strong safety out of Montana. And now it is time for us to make our first selection this draft. And we are going to go after our boy quarterback Nicholas Bolton here at pick 29 in the first round. He's projected late second round, but I didn't really want to give up on him. I think he's going to be an absolute stud, especially with a 4.63. I mean, that is insane. And his top skill is throw power. So you know he's got a strong arm and he's fast, improviser. We're taking Nicholas Bolton right here in the first
are
round.
now on the clock.
And he is 70 overall, hidden development. There we go. That is exactly what we needed. He is ranked 20 in true value. We got him at 29, and that is what we needed. 86 throw power, it's not terrible, honestly, but actually his accuracies are pretty good. 79, 79, 80, 77 awareness. Balanced QB style, 83 throw on the run. Play action, not so good. Maybe we'll need to work on that a little bit. Good under pressure, good at breaking sacks. Okay, I think this was definitely probably the best selection we could have had. And I think he's going to be an absolute stud for us. Beautiful, beautiful. Can you get that reorder off there? Thank you. All right, so now the Chiefs are on the clock, and they are going to
Seahawks
take
are now on the clock.
Rafael Dishman, the free safety out of Florida A&M at 66 overall.
The Dolphins
And the
are now on the
Seahawks
clock.
are going to take Jerry Sharpton, 72 overall left tackle out of Notre Dame. I was kind of looking at him pretty good, but we were going to pass on him regardless because I think we have a couple of defensive guys that I'm going to take here in this 32 pick in the first round. And at pick 32, we have decided that we are going to take defensive tackle Tim Beck. I
The
think he's
Raiders
going to
are
be
now on the
huge stopping. He's 14 in true value, and we drafted him at 32. He is a 71 overall, normal dev defensive tackle, but run stopper, that's exactly what we need. He's got 90 strength, 77 block shedding. Power moves need a little bit of work. Finesse moves, tackle, play rec, awareness, speed, acceleration. All we really need for him is to just kind of stay right in the middle and clog everything up. I'm okay with this selection. And now we have hit the second round, so now we are going to skip to our picks and get it going. So
The
let's head over
Dolphins
to
are
our
now on
second
the
round
clock.
pick here. Jakari Davis is finally taken. Ooh, 75 overall. But let's see who we end up taking here. I think with this selection, we're actually going to take left end Reed Lazinski, 6'2", 243 pounds out of Miami as an edge rusher. Got good finesse move, pursuit, play rec. This is our selection, pick 7 in the
The
second round.
Jaguars are now on the clock.
So he's 12 in true value at 72 overall. We got him at 39. Beautiful, beautiful. He's way off the power rush archetype, but that's okay. We just kind of want him as an edge rusher regardless. He's got really good finesse moves, really good speed and excel, good tackling, and really good agility and strength. So I'm happy with this selection as well here in the second round. And now we need to head to our next pick, which is round 3, pick 7. Let's go ahead and get it started.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
And now let's make our selection. So with this selection, we're actually going to go a little bit off of our game plan and go after halfback Jamal Ellison, who is out of North Dakota. I think he's the best player available at this spot anyway. He's projected early 4th round. We're going to grab him here in the 3rd round. I mean, great skills of carrying juke move and ball carrier vision. We're going to grab him here with pick 7 in the 3rd round. And Jamal Ellison is 70 overall. He is ranked 17 in true value. We got him at 71, but he is normal dev. But let's see, he's got 93 speed, 90 excel, 91 agility, real good carrying, real good ball carrier vision, juke move. Okay, he's looking like an absolute animal, actually. He's got a little bit of work with the break tackle, but he's an elusive back. They're not going to catch him. I think this is a very good 3rd round pick. And now we head to our next pick, which is 11 here in the 3rd round. So let's head there.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
And let's make a selection. So pretty much getting into the later rounds, we need to start taking best player available, which I believe here is cornerback Roman Carson out of Notre Dame. Late 4th round projection, but early 2nd round talent with real good press awareness and zone. So we are going to grab him here, pick 11 in the 3rd round. He is 69 overall, number 35 in true value. We got him at number 75. He's actually a decent man-to-man guy. His zone's right there. And his core stats, 93 speeds, definitely something that we can work on. His man is 69, so not really looking good there. Definitely a great athlete, but really needs to kind of get in the books and be a little bit better on the football sense of things. And now we are going to be heading to round 4, pick 7.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Going. Whoops, I accidentally did the next pick. I meant to go to our user pick.
Now on the clock.
All right, let's see who we take here at round 4, pick 7. We're still going with the best player available approach, and we are going to take defensive tackle Lindsay out of South Florida. Here, pick 7, round 4. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a reach, but again, he's the best player on our board, so we are going to take him right now with top skills of finesse, pursuit, and tackle. He is our selection. He is 68 overall, 42 in true value. Like I said, not a really great draft class this year, but I mean, it is what it is. He has okay strength, okay finesse, decent speed for a defensive tackle, good acceleration. So he might be somebody that can clog up the middle a little bit. And now we are going to head to our next pick, which is round 5, pick 7. So let's head there and see who we end up taking.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
That took a little bit, but let's see who we take here in the 5th round. So we're still going with the best player available approach, and right now I believe it's actually fullback Anthony Wade, who is 6 foot, 256 blocking type of fullback. I don't know if Eric Cannon was really the answer, but this guy has late 1st round talent with top skills of trucking, lead block, and run block, which is exactly what we need. We're taking Anthony Wade here in the 5th round, and he's 29 in true value at 69 overall. Really good blocking fullback here. And his ratings, 79 lead block, 77 excel, 81 strength. Okay, 82 trucking. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. How's his catching, actually? 70? Oh, okay. I mean, that isn't bad at all for a guy that's pretty much just a blocking fullback. And now our next pick is round 6, pick 7. Let's head over that way. And let's end up making our selection. We are going to take an undrafted projection here with wide receiver Donnell Snow out of Drake. Real good short route catching medium route, so he might be a very good slot guy for us, just in case anything happens to Adrian Hardy. So Donnell Snow is going to be our selection. He is 66 overall, 73 and true talent. and 89 speed, 92 excel, real good short running, decent catching. I mean, he's got a long way to go, but not too bad for a 6th round pick. And now we are going to be heading to our final pick here in round 7, pick 7. So let's head off that way.
The Dolphins
and
are now
let's make a selection. So I did have one more guy on my draft board at this spot, and it is wide receiver Darnell Bradfield out of Washington State. He is a deep threat with deep route, good spec catch, good catch in traffic. We are going to take him here in the 7th round.
Are now on the clock.
And he's a 59 overall, our first reach in the draft, number 213. We drafted him at 199. Does he have any good ratings? Speed is decent, excel is decent, good jumping, good agility, but he's definitely a very raw prospect. So now let's sim to the end of the draft here. I think we made some pretty good selections. Nicholas Bolton was kind of the guy that we needed to go after because once again, we don't get the people that we are going after. It seems like we're always one spot away. I mean, anybody remember Tua tags? I mean, that's just the way that it is. We just can't seem to get that draft part figured out. I kind of thought they were going to fall, but then when I look back, they were the 4th and 6th best prospects. So then I was like, oh, we're going to be in some trouble there. But we did end up getting Nicholas Bolton, who is, I mean, I think he's going to be awesome. I mean, 70 overall, 85 speed, and I mean, throw power is pretty good as well. Tim Beck can clog up our middle here. Reed Lazinski, he might end up starting now if we end up moving Chase Young over to right end. And I mean, really depending on Josh Sweat and not. I think we had a really good running back here in the 3rd round with Jamal Ellison. I mean, 70 overall guy with 93 speed. I think that's solid. Roman Carson's going to be a little bit raw here in the 3rd round at 69 overall, but 93 speed. That's, I mean, that's decently sharp, but he has a lot of the football tangibles to kind of get figured out. Lindsay Peel, I don't think was too bad, especially where we got him here in the 4th round, but he's nothing to get too super excited about. Anthony Wade, the fullback out of Arizona, I think could be a good one here. Donnell Snow, he's got a lot of upside, but I don't think he's really going to be our difference maker. And then same thing with Darnell Bradfield, just not really going to be that guy that's going to stand up and go crazy, especially at 59 overall. It's going to be real tough for him to end up making this team. So I did want to take a look at some of the people that we actually ended up showcasing. The first one here is Moses Jeffrey, who is by far the number 1 pick. Everybody kind of knew it. 76 overall, hidden. This guy is probably going to be super duper good. His ratings are super good. Not really going to be much of a pass rusher though. His power moves and finesse moves not that great. Decent speed though as a right end. So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with there with the Raiders. And then Kyle Terra, definitely the guy I kind of wanted the most. 6'3", 219. And physical archetype, 88 speed actually is not bad. I mean, 104th ranked wide receiver. But, I mean, very good looking core attributes there for him. The guy that I actually wanted probably more was Calvin Murphy, but wasn't able to get him. I mean, 6'6", 234. It's going to be an absolute beast. Ooh, with 91 speed, as routes need a little bit of work, but in his catching traffic's not bad. He's going to be a pretty good player as well. And then I also wanted to look at Anthony Austin, wherever he ended up getting taken. It was after Bolton. Let's see where he's at. Oh, he fell a long way, did he not? Was he still? There he is. Oh, he's going to the Raiders. All right, so 6'5", 231, strong arm, 69 overall, normal dev, real good arm, decent deep accuracy, really good medium accuracy, but can't hit your short throws. Okay, so we definitely made the right selection in Nicholas Bolton. We got the best quarterback that was there, but I mean, this draft was not really strong with the quarterback position, and wide receiver, it was pretty much strong with those two guys, with Murphy and Terra, and then it just kind of fell away from there. So we weren't able to do that, but we might have to end up making some moves in free agency and maybe strengthen up our roster just a little bit after this draft. So we are going to end up signing a third quarterback here, which we are going to grab 2-year pro Tanner Reynolds out of Illinois State. He's got star development, 53 overall, and he's probably going to end up being on the practice squad, but a third quarterback is always worth it. We are going to re-sign middle linebacker Avery Williamson just to get a little bit more on the linebacker depth. I think that's what we need going forward. We are also going to sign defensive tackle Andrew Billings, and we just need a little bit more depth at defensive tackle. We are also going to reach out to right tackle Jawan James and sign him to the active roster. Kind of looking for another backup guard. We're going to see if he's going to be the one or not. We are also going to sign 78 overall wide receiver Devonta Smith out of Alabama. Nobody's going to reach an agreement with him. We absolutely will. Welcome aboard. Alright guys, that is where we have pretty much made all of our moves for the offseason. Still wasn't able to really get a quarterback, but at least we have a little bit of hope with Nicholas Bolton. I knew he was going to be good. Hopefully he can outplay Dave Sands in the preseason and start week 1. But if he does not, then he's going to be a little bit of a development behind Dave Sands. Again, Dave Sands has showed promise. He just quite isn't a starting caliber quarterback at this point. But again, nobody else really has that much anyway, other than Patty Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and those guys. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight, out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that win over time. I've been working, now I'm back at it again. Now we finished what you thought that was the end.